Hey everyone, how's it going today? I wanted to show you a product video of just all the different stuff that I use to clean as well as polish my car. I have the Cars and Coffee going tomorrow, so I wanted to make sure that the car is looking its best. So let's get to it. I'll show you what I got. In cleaning the car, I use the 2-bucket wash method to keep from getting those micro scratches that are a big pain. I have the Porter cable with 2 polishing pads right now. I do have the heavy one, but I'm not going to be doing any cutting this time. Just a polish and then a wax. Some of the soap that I have is just using this wet shine, but didn't really work too well with the drying process, so I bought some spot free. This is the mother's kit that I have. The Showtime and the Instant Detailer works really well with using a clay bar. And then the spray wax is just something I bought on accident thinking I was going to buy the other, but it turned out in between waxes it does a pretty good job. The pieces I use for my polishing pads are from the left to right, basically the heaviest to the lightest. The compound is what takes out your micro scratches. The polish takes out a little bit of it, but isn't as good as the compound. And then the wax is what you use the lightest pad on at the end. Then the rest is just kind of your regular bleach white, tire wet, and I bought this turtle wax to try to clean the tires, but it doesn't really do a very good job. And this stuff is pretty good, but it's also pretty expensive. If you ever have any water, like calcium deposits on your windows, if you get this, and you only want to use just microfiber, if you use anything heavy, it's going to scratch up your window. But this thing is awesome for taking off any type of water spots, whether it's on your car or somewhere in your home. I use it in my bathroom for my glass doors on the shower. Lens protector, and then just light scratch remover. It doesn't really work very well, but just something cool to have if I need to touch up a spot. Last is the clay bar. Alright, so it's been raining a little bit today, but I was going to go ahead and do a quick wash, and I don't plan on driving anywhere, so I'm going to be in the shop here and just doing some polish on it. Let's Now it comes to the tedious part of drying everything. I usually start with the windows, and then do the hood, and then the spoiler on the back, and then the sides, and therefore I use a big microfiber to wipe the big spots off, and then use a smaller one just to finally dry it. And then as this gets wet, I just change it out with another one. I figured out this works best to keep from any spots, because if you just wipe with one, you're going to leave spots. So I'm going to get to it now. Finally have everything all dried off. Now I take a towel for my interior and get a little bit of water and just a tiny bit of soap and wipe everything down. I don't use any of the Armor All type products, especially on my dash, because I know it's going to really fade the color on it and just make a kind of a weird kind of greasy type look to it. That's not something I want, so I just stick with a plain old towel and water. Wanted to show you guys a little trick that I do for my exhaust system. This is some chrome polish. I just put a tiny little bit on here, and as you can see, leaves a little bit of residue around there. All you have to do is just kind of touch around there and just kind of rub around. This works for the outside too. See? I've been using this like 2-3 years. Best way to keep from any type of rust buildup on your mufflers, in my opinion. Now I'm finally moving on to the clay bar process. I have to wait, I guess, till this evening before I can do the front, since I have light shining on the front of the car now. But you just want to take it, kind of knead it around, and smash it flat, just like this. And you take your bottle, and you just want to use this as a lubricant. You can use this, some people use just water and soap. But I chose to do this detailer since it seems like it works a whole lot better. So I'm going to get to it here. I just simply spray a couple coats. And if you feel it on a dry spot, you want to make sure that it goes back to where it's wet. And you also want to make sure that you're only going in a forward and backward or side to side motion. You don't want to do circles because that may lead to more micro scratching. So I'm going to get to it here and show you if there's any type of difference. I don't really believe there's anything, but I'll just show you already there's a little bit of dirt that's already coming up on it. Now I have this whole back area polished. Polished slash clay barred, and it turned out pretty good. There were some spots where, especially just kind of on the hood, where I noticed that there were some dots over the last couple washes that I had, and the clay bar actually was able to get them out. There's still maybe like a couple little specks, and it's just something I'm going to be eyeing whenever I do the Porter cable, and just kind of buff and polish everything as well as wax it. I'd recommend doing everything one step at a time, but since I'm not able to do the front of the car right now, like I said, due to some light, I'm going to go ahead and just do the back of the car to go ahead and knock it out instead of just waiting for this evening. Now with my Porter cable buffer thing, I'm going to put it on the lowest setting 1, and went ahead and made marks on it so you can see if it's actually spinning, because sometimes if you apply too much pressure it doesn't. So the first step is to take some water. This is just some water. Kind of spray it lightly. And then right now I'm going to do the polish. If you're actually looking to get some deep marks out, you would use the compound with a more intense buffer wheel. So basically the way I've learned is just to make a couple dots on it. Then kind of spread this around. I'm going to be doing the top of the wing first. You're going to go on 1 with the lowest setting and move that around, and then you can go your choice between like a 4 or 6. 6 is the most powerful on this machine, and really just work it in there. You want to let it sit for a little bit and then just buff it right off. Now I finally have the back all polished. Looks pretty sharp right now, but whenever you rub the cloth over it, the cloth feels like it kind of sticks. So I'm going to be applying the wax now to the back of it, and once I apply that wax, it's just going to be super smooth, as well as pretty glossy, probably a little bit more than it already is. So I'm going to get to that now. Moving on to the liquid wax. Again, this is a new pad, so you just want to spray it down, make sure that it's wet. It's not going to hurt anything if it's too wet, but if it's too wet you may sling a little bit more. And this is the liquid wax I'm going to use here. It's pretty cool stuff. It also smells really good. So like before, came out a little strong, but you just want to dot it around, dot it on the car, and then just slowly work it in. Instead of using like a 4 to 6 on this, you want to use 1 to kind of move it around, and then use just under a 3 is what I use. It's my preference, but you don't want to have it all the way up to the max spinning this stuff on. It's more of a gloss or a coat, and after you put this on, this is the one where you want to wait maybe about 3 to 5 minutes before you take it off. So get to it right now. Now I finished the rear end here. Started over here. Try to show you a good shot. See just how glossy it is. The back looks really nice too. I like whenever you can see that mirror image on it. The top, super nice. I was able to get off the little dots that I had saw. It's basically like little either sap or like a little water stain. Everything looks pretty sharp right now. It's hard to even see the actual color just by how much it's reflecting. So, gonna finish up and show you the final product. So I finally finished up, and dang, it's pretty late, pretty sweaty. It's still like 90 degrees outside at probably about 9:30 right now. So definitely took some time to do this, a little bit longer than I expected. So I'll go ahead and I guess show you kind of like a teaser here. Yeah, earlier when I was finishing it up, all this turned into a mirror type look, so it's going to be really cool tomorrow. I'm guessing you'll have to stay tuned for my coffee and cars video then. I'll get out there a little bit early and do a little bit of video of the car here. So, like I said, this takes a little bit of time. I only did a 2-step process, not a 3-step process. Did really good with taking out any type of swirl or mark. I had kind of like a spotlight on it. You can still see some tiny little bit of scratches, but unless I guess it's 100 degrees full sunlight and you're looking maybe about a couple inches away from the car, you're never going to see it. So as always, if you like this video, please be sure to subscribe. Definitely check in when I post my video tomorrow about coffee and cars. As always, happy driving and enjoy.